Good morning, trumpet players. This morning I am going to share with you my All-State story. So, I'm not just sharing this story just because I want you to know about my story. The reason I'm sharing this is because a lot of you are going to make a very serious mistake at this stage of the All-State preparation process. You're going to jump in there, make a bunch of mistakes, and you're going to regret it later. So the reason I'm telling you my story is so you can see why you don't want to do that. Now, real quick, let me tell you why I'm using my phone for this video. I have been doing master classes at the same high school for, I think this is my 4th or 5th year now. I think it's James Taylor High School in Katy, Texas. So, I was thinking on my way here about you guys. I posted those videos last night of the slow version of the etudes. And I was thinking on the way here that if you guys jump into this stuff right away and try to learn it real fast, you're really going to miss out. So then I was thinking about my experience with All-State. So my first time making All-State was in 1981. Yes, I'm that old. I like being old, by the way, so to me that's not a problem. But yeah, 1981 was my first time, and here's the thing. It was the first year that I had actually prepared the way you're supposed to prepare. I had a great teacher back then, Kenny Capshaw, and Kenny Capshaw is actually still in El Paso teaching trumpet lessons for all I know. I believe he's still teaching lessons. I know he's at the University of Texas now. But anyway, so one of the things he taught us was how to prepare the All-State music. I mean, he really did a good job with me on that. And I did prepare well. But that's not the story I'm telling you. I want you to know what happened. So I'm on my way to area. Now in El Paso, I don't know how it is today. Of course, that was decades ago. In El Paso back then, if you made it to area for the audition, you had to drive in a bus, ride in a bus to Lubbock or something like that. So we had to go all the way to the Panhandle for the area audition. And something happened to me right before the audition. I won't go into the details, it was personal, but I was upset. I don't think I've ever been in my life truly depressed, but I was sad. Of course, there's a difference between the two, but yes, I was extremely sad. I was very, very sad. And I was consumed, let's put it this way, I was consumed with sadness to the degree that I didn't really care about what was going on with the All-State stuff. And I went in there, I played the audition, and when I got out of the audition, I had no recollection of what I did in the audition. That's how consumed with sadness I was. I couldn't even remember what I did. And I thought, you know, the way we're taught, and so I'm not putting down other people, you know, other teachers, but there's a lot of bad stuff that gets taught today. And one by one, we should all teachers, all of us should be going through all that stuff and double checking it to make sure, is it true, is it not true? Okay, and one of these things that's not true is that you have to be completely in control when you perform, that you have to be completely cognizant. Well, because I did believe that, and I had no recollection of my audition, I walked out of there thinking there's no way I would have made it. I didn't think I was going to make All-State. Because according to what what we believe about being cognitive while you play, being alert, I was completely unalert. I was almost to the point of being unconscious, almost. I was so stricken with sadness. Right? So, when we go to get the results, I didn't even go look, by the way. I didn't even look. I just thought for sure I just didn't even make it. So, my best buddy, John Glass, comes running to me and says, Eddie, you got first chair. First chair? How did that happen? Okay, and it was a riddle to me after that. I didn't understand it. I understand it a lot better today than I did back then. We perform our best when we perform from our subconscious minds, not our conscious minds. That's one of the, if you take lessons with me, that's one of the most important points you should take away from the lesson. We perform best from our subconscious minds, not from our conscious minds. So when we have a great performance, it's not some superhuman feat of masterful mind control of our bodies. No. The best performances are the ones where we are practically unconscious to the music. The music is automatic and it's just happening. That's why I wanted to share my story with you, was because I made first chair and didn't even know it. I have no memory of what I played. Now, how was that possible? How is it possible to be so stricken with sadness? I won't call it grief because it wasn't grief, it was sadness. How is it possible to be so stricken with sadness and to the point where you're not even aware of what you're doing and make first chair? Now, let me be clear about this. I am not suggesting that you should somehow create some kind of trauma for yourself so that you force yourself to be stricken with sadness. Please don't be that stupid. All right? That's not what I'm saying. It wasn't the emotional impact that made me first chair. It was the preparation leading up to the impact. All right? It was the way I prepared that got me in the first chair area. Okay? I prepared in a way that no matter what happened, the music was going to be automatic. All right? Let that sink in. The music has to be subconsciously, psychologically, completely mentally automatic, so that no matter what happens, you're still going to nail it. Let that sink in. And why is that so important right now, this morning? The music was released less than 24 hours ago. I'm recording this right now. It's about 8:30. And a lot of you are about to make that mistake. A lot of you are about to jump in there and try to learn the music fast. As if you get it done faster, you'll be able to fix the mistakes sooner. That's just stupid. You don't fix mistakes. That's the other thing that You know, it's not. It's actually the same thing. One of the most important things I teach is that you don't fix mistakes. All you can do with mistakes is decrease their frequency. I'll have, you know what, I'm thinking about already a video that I'll record tomorrow morning, because I'm here 3 days this week, 5 days next week. And I always come early because it's so far away. I live on the completely other side of Houston from here. So I give myself 2 hours to get here, which means I always get here early. But if I waited later, I would be late. We don't want to be late, right? So yeah, I already have in mind what I want to record tomorrow on a similar message. But anyways, be thinking about that. We don't want to make mistakes and fix the mistakes. All we do when we do that is change the frequency. So just in case I forget, tomorrow what I want to talk about is my All-State boot camp fiasco. All right? I think it's a very important point, and the most important time to make that video is now. So, but it's along the same lines as what I'm telling you today. We're trying to create in our minds, you know, I like to look at this as a form of brainwash. We want to brainwash our minds into playing the music correctly under any and every circumstance. We want to brainwash ourselves so that we play the music correctly under all circumstances. That means, you know, one year I had a student that told me, great student, by the way. I'm not putting him down, but I had a student one year that told me that the reason he got alternate was because the room was too cold. Well, I'm sorry. It was just as cold for everybody else. That's not a legitimate excuse, right? And when you prepare well enough, now, here's the thing. This is something that a lot of people miss. You have to hold yourself while you're doing this preparation stuff. So there's 2 things that have to happen. The first thing that happens is you have to hold yourself to a All-State standard. You want to make All-State? You need to play All-State standard, and not All-State standard 2 weeks before region. Not All-State standard a month before region. You need to hold yourself to an All-State standard now. That's the first thing. When you're preparing correctly, you hold yourself to an all-state standard. Now, and what is that standard? Think about it. I believe that for high school, Texas All-State is probably the most competitive trumpet competition there is in the whole world for high school trumpet players. I think it's probably the hardest, the most difficult competition to win, to get a spot in, probably in the whole world. Why? Because you guys take it so seriously. I don't see this in other states. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see it like this. You guys are hungry. Look at, you guys crashed the TMEA website. Right? I was trying to get the etudes yesterday, and I think there was so much traffic. It's like for a half hour, the website was down. So, right? I mean, you guys are hungry for this stuff. And I haven't seen that. You know, I'm a world traveler, kind of, sort of. And I don't see this anywhere else. You guys are hungry for this. And because of that, the competition is high. It's huge. So the All-State standard, you need to be one of the best trumpet players, high school trumpet players in the world. Really. So the standard you hold yourself up to has to be at that standard. And this is what I'm trying to say, is you don't hold yourself to that standard later. That's not possible. That's not how the human brain works. And I'll talk more about that tomorrow. But that's not possible. You can't say, oh, let me just jump in there now. And this is why I'm making this video now. You don't just jump in there now and learn it real fast and then try to fix mistakes later. That's a disaster. You guys that are going to do it like that, the only way that will work is if you're already really awesome. If you're already awesome, and I mean awesome, if you're already that good, if you're already All-State good, then you can jump in and learn it real fast, and it won't hurt you. But if you're not already All-State good, jumping in there, doing it real fast, learning the etudes real fast, all that's going to do is guarantee that you don't make it. All right? So the second thing that has to happen, so that's the first thing, is you have to hold yourself to a high All-State standard, right? The second thing is that you have to drill the music. And you have to drill it in a way that you're not making any mistakes. We're talking about repeating sections of the music literally thousands of times. Repeating it correctly, literally thousands of times. Repeating it with no mistakes, no cracked notes, in tune, with a great sound. Repeating it thousands of times. And this is why we make the videos. At least this is why I make them. You know, the videos that I make are a continuation of the tradition that my teacher, Kenny Capshaw, he used to always make cassette tapes for us, and we would listen. Of course, that was long before the internet. And so then when I was teaching at HSPVA in the 90s, Bob Morgan used to hire me to record the trumpet, the jazz trumpet ones. And as soon as I had equipment, I started doing it for my students also, both the jazz ones and the classical ones. So, and by the way, the etudes that I recorded have the metronome, they're 2/3 tempo. They have the metronome in there so that you hear, the whole point is so that you hear everything correctly. I want you to hear how the rhythms line up with the metronome. That's extremely important, especially on the second etude, by the way. Extremely important, because the rhythms in the second etude, for most of you, if you didn't listen to the etude, there's no way you would understand how the rhythms go. For most of you. I know some of you are that good, but anyway. So yes, this is, it starts, All-State stuff starts. Now the jazz guys, you've already been at this. You already heard me talking about this stuff, but I think the jazz, people who are in the jazz in Texas now, I think we're down to like 10%, which is kind of sad. But yeah, so in case you don't know, I've got an All-State Preparation series. I think this is like number 18 in that video series. And you can, I'm holding the camera, but you can click on up here and watch some of the other videos in that series. It has the jazz stuff and the classical stuff and the overall general stuff. This video will be in that series. Actually, now that I've added the 3 etudes, I think we're probably closer to 20 now. Anyway, if you have any questions, please ask below. If you want to receive more of my videos, click on subscribe. And other than that, I'm going to say God bless you. Good luck with your preparation for the All-State stuff. And we'll see you on the next video. Thanks a lot.